Hey y'all, I'm Christina. I'm a travel lifestyle blogger, and in this video, I'll be sharing my experience on the Napa Valley Wine Train in California. So I traveled all the way from the DC area to San Francisco and then took the journey through the ferry to get to Napa in California just for this wine train. This wine train has been on my personal travel bucket list for years, so I'm so excited that I finally got to experience it. I'm about to tell you if I think it was worth the $400 or not. So we were staying a little bit, we as in me and my friend, because I did have a buddy with me. I usually travel solo, but on this trip I did have a friend. So we traveled there from our hotel, which was in Vallejo. So we traveled there. It took about an hour. We took an Uber to get there, which splitting the cost, it wasn't that expensive. So we finally got there. I recommend getting there a few minutes early, but we were actually running a bit behind. However, thankfully, once we got there, there is a little bit of a boarding process where they'll take your picture before you board the train. So because of that line, we were fine, but we were definitely running past the time where they said the train would start leaving. So that worked in our favor, but try to arrive maybe, like, I would say 10 minutes before. All you do before waiting is kind of just waiting in the room that they have inside of the station. So I don't think it's worth really getting there early unless you brought like a package to have some cheese and wine before boarding the train, but I don't think that's necessary. So I would just say to get there at least 10 minutes early. I also don't know whatever happened to the pictures that we did take before boarding, because we took so many of our own, so it really didn't matter. But I mean, if you want those, just know that is something that does come with the train ride. We were escorted by one of the staff members. We were seated onto our table, and then a server came and she explained the menu to us. I have the menu listed here. You can stop and have a minute to look at it if you want. But with the Vista Dome lunch experience, it basically includes a 4-course meal, and then you have options to choose for the different courses. So like the first course here, we have the choice of like the chef's daily appetizer offering with the citrus cured salmon or beef carpaccio. And then the second was a soup salad or a prawn cocktail. The third, we had choices like risotto, ricotta cheese, gnocchi, pan-seared chicken breast. And then for the dessert, they usually have like a daily creation that the chef creates. So the server came, she went through the menu, gave us all the options. It was a lot of information, and mind you, we just got on the train, so we completely forgot, and then she had to come back and explain it again. Our table already had a glass of water and then a glass of sparkling wine for us, which was nice. Our server went ahead and brought us some bread and butter, so we enjoyed some of that while we were waiting for our courses. So for my 4 courses, I ended up doing a ratatouille on a puff pastry with cheese, carrot soup for my second course, and this was a nice little, I guess, short show because our server came and she put some seasoning on the soup. For my third course, I had red wine braised beef short ribs with pommes puree and carrot, basically mashed potatoes with a broiled carrot. And then for dessert, I had a creme brulee. Now, when it comes to the food, I will say that I was very impressed and happy with my meal. I think that the portion sizes were really good. The food actually tasted good. And then I like that there was a variety of choices that we could make for our courses. It wasn't just kind of like, okay, you paid this money and here you go, what you get is what you get type of situation. That's what I thought it would be like. So I do like that they had a menu and that guests are able to make choices. So no complaints on the food. I think they did that right. Now, what I was not expecting, you might be thinking, okay, I'm going on the Napa Valley Wine Train. I'm going to get to try some more wine. This is what people come to Napa for. So I was very disappointed to find out that there was not any wine included past the free glass of sparkling wine that they gave us. That was very disappointing. I personally think that for the price point, wine should have been included, but it just wasn't. What they do have instead was a menu filled with like different flight wine options or bottle options that you can purchase or select from. So that's that. I mean, it wasn't that bad, and I was actually thinking about doing a flight of wine for like $25, but I just didn't. After I ate, I didn't really want any more wine, and I barely got through my sparkling glass, if I'm being honest. But I was also drinking a lot before the wine train, so there's also that. So I mean, is it pricey to add wine on? No, but I do think for the price point, that is something that should be offered. And I think maybe very disappointing or surprising to you if you go on this wine train and expect to try a bunch of wine and it's just not included. So once the train is moving and after you get through your 4 courses, we were just kind of eating, enjoying each other's company. For this reason, I do definitely think that this is something that you will want to do with a partner. As a fellow solo traveler myself, I have no problem getting up and doing things by myself, but this is an experience that I would recommend having someone that you know with. It's a very beautiful experience to have with a partner or like a girls trip like I did. But yeah, I definitely think you will want someone's company. This is a 3-hour train ride. I don't know if I mentioned that in the beginning. So this 3-hour train ride is from like 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And after a while, you know, after you're done eating, having the conversation that you're having, I got a bit bored. I was under the impression that when I booked this experience, I would be able to walk around the train, take pictures around the train, visit the different carts, go in and out, go kind of on like the balcony on the outside of the train, as that's what I saw before I booked the experience. So I was very disappointed because we were actually not allowed to do that. When we asked some of the staff on the train, they let us know that like each car was private. So like our car was the Vista Dome experience, and then the next car would be the afternoon tea experience, and then maybe another experience after that. So she's like, these are all like private experiences, so you guys cannot go from car to car and vice versa with the other guests on the other cars. So that was very disappointing to me, especially because on the website it literally says that after our meal we are able to explore the train cars between courses and even visit the chefs if we wanted to in the kitchen. I don't really see how realistic this is, being that I saw the kitchen like downstairs from our car, but the spaces are so tight that like I just could not imagine going to the actual kitchen just to pop in and be like, hey, and having that be well received. Maybe that's just me, but then also just being told by the staff that we could not move freely was very disappointing. It is a 3-hour train ride, and I don't know if I would have booked this if I knew that I was just gonna be basically sitting down and eating the entire time. So that's something to consider as well. However, I think that one of the staff members that I was speaking to, and I was really trying to convince her to let me go to the other train cars, she eventually felt kind of bad. So she did point us to this window that was kind of connecting in between both of the train cars that we were in. The train car that we were in, the middle, and then there's another train car. So in between that, there was like a little window that was open where we could see outside of the train, and I thought that was really nice. So she pointed us in that direction, and we just stayed there for like the last 30 minutes of the train ride, and it was pretty entertaining. I mean, we got to hang our heads outside of the window. We were waving at like some of the people that live in Napa or other people that were visiting, and they were actually waving back. So that was like a little form of entertainment, you could say. Eventually it's time to head back, and then as you're exiting the train, I mean, it's more opportunities for pictures. The staff was very patient, I will say, with giving passengers the opportunity to take pictures like as we exit the train, like hanging out of the train rails. And as a blogger, I love to get my pictures in, so I thought they were more than patient, which I really appreciate. My final thoughts on whether or not this experience is worth it: I'm gonna say for the price value, is it worth the price itself? No. I just think that for something that long, 3 hours long, there should be some form of entertainment to make it worth it for guests, or making it in a way so that guests are able to kind of travel throughout the train. I don't think that's an unreasonable request, especially after they're done eating. Either that, and then I also think that the wine should be included. Like at least a flight of wine would not hurt to be included in the price, because essentially all you're paying for is just a very fancy 4-course meal. Well, I wouldn't even say very fancy, but a 4-course meal on a train ride. So you are confined in like one booth for 3 hours, and it's not even the length of time because it does go by fast, but more so there could be just more excitement for passengers again. Now, when it comes to the experience of going on the Napa Wine Train, do I think it's worth it? I'm always gonna say yes to an experience. I love experiencing things. I don't care about like how much it costs. Even if everyone told me that like it wasn't worth it, I know that I'm someone who has to experience things for myself before listening to the opinions of others. So I'm always gonna say go ahead and go. I actually would also be willing to do another experience on the Napa Valley Wine Train. I wanted to do the afternoon tea experience, and I noticed it's actually the same price as the 4-course meal that I did. So I would have to look into that a bit more, but I definitely would say go ahead and go for it. It was something that was on my list for a long time, and I did it, and I don't regret it at all. I think it was a beautiful experience. I just think that the price should be a bit more reflective of what you're actually receiving as a passenger or a guest. So that was my experience on the Napa Valley Wine Train. I hope that this was informative to you and that I kind of gave you an idea of what to expect on the train, and that you of course go ahead and go experience it for yourself. So let me know in the comments if you would do the Napa Valley Wine Train, or if you've done it before and what you think about it, your honest thoughts and opinion. Let me know what you think about the price and everything that I said, and I will see y'all in the next video.